Hello, my friends. How are you doing? I am, of course, Oliver Joyce from Whiskeybarrel Studios, and you probably heard the news. That's right, Swords and Sandals 3 Redux. It's real. It's coming. It's a thing. It's also probably the worst kept secret in the Whiskeybarrel universe for what that is. Um, yeah, so if you checked my last video about a week and a half ago, you would have seen that it was the official teaser trailer for Sword and Sandals 3 Redux. And if you didn't, let's watch it together. We'll do a little in-video reaction. Just me making funny faces while the 30-second trailer happens. So let's check it out first, and I'm going to talk to you all about what Sword and Sandals 3 Redux is all about. All right, here we go. The encore premiere of Sword and Sandals 3 Redux teaser trailer. I mean, seriously, that's what reaction videos, ridiculous. Just people in the corner making stupid faces. YouTube, I don't get it. I just don't get it. I'm old though. As you can see, I've got the growing the old Wolfgang of Shackleford hair out. Reverting to my youthful days. Although I'm looking much older these days. Anyway, yes, the Swords and Sandals 3 Redux teaser trailer. That was just showing off sort of 30 seconds of gameplay from the game. I've been working on it in secret for best part of this year, and a lot of that work has been just commissioning art assets from my artist Bokimi, who is doing mainly backgrounds and arenas and stuff like that, and the title screen and stuff like that, and just putting it all together. New soundtracks, there's a couple of great new soundtracks for the game, which one of them you may have heard in the teaser trailer, and lots of other cool stuff. But let me just show you that the game is real. I'm going to load it up and we'll have a little look. Yeah, so here we are in the Badlands, the familiar arena of the Gladiator Ultratus from Sword and Sandals 3 Redux. And you will notice, of course, the various familiar faces from the old game. And, of course, one new face. I mean, let's go to, for example, Battlemart. And here is, of course, Bors the Mighty. And you'll be able to buy and sell things from him, just like Sword and Sandals Immortals and so on. I wanted to mention something. So I got a comment on YouTube. I got lots of comments, actually, which is excellent. Someone just said this is an asset flip. What do you think Sword and Sandals 2 was? That was literally an asset flip from Sword and Sandals 1. Sword and Sandals games have always used assets from previous Sword and Sandals games. That's what I do. I'm a solo developer, and that's how I make my games. I kind of get the fact that it does look exactly like Immortals at the moment. I am planning on bringing some of the assets from Sword and Sandals 3, like the paper scroll and stuff like that, to, make it look a little bit more unique. But I'm not redoing this whole shop. This shop system, for me anyway, I like it. It works well for Immortals. The Sword and Sandals 3 original shop system worked well for that game. But that's a Flash game. Flash games behave very differently to other games, to games on a modern computer. I know in the old Flash game you could drag and drop the armor and stuff off and on. Just not really possible. But that's the one cool thing about Flash, was you had all these amazing techniques in the animations that you could do that you can't do in a modern game. It sounds weird, right? But Flash, the animation system was incredible. However, a little surprise for you. Check out this. Now, Niram, who is a passionate member of the Sword and Sandals Discord community, and he's done probably the best mod for Sword and Sandals in Sword and Sandals Forever, is actually working with me on this game. He is doing a whole bunch of cool work to get the old Sword and Sandals 3 sprites working in the game. So you can see here, this is a, if I move my camera, you can see that's the muscular gladiator from Sword and Sandals 3 original. and the really cartoony style. And so we're going to keep that. And I'm probably going to give you guys the option, if it works, to switch between the Immortals art style and the Redux art style as much as I can. And now we'll see if it's possible, but I'd like you to be able to choose, the Immortals remake of the town, or the old town, that kind of thing. And that's the same for the shopkeeper artwork and everything, and the arena backgrounds and stuff like that. Because a lot of people love that old art style. A lot of people miss, the classic look. And a lot of people love the new art style. So I'd like to, in the way that I did it in Swords and Sandals 2 Redux, I'd like to give you the option to say, change the shopkeepers to the classic ones, but keep the modern arena backgrounds, or change the gladiator avatars to one thing or the other. So what I'm going to show you now is this guy. Hey, it's me. So Bokimi, my awesome artist, throw this in for me. He said, here, have this cool piece of artwork. And when he was doing the shopkeepers, it just surprised me and said, hey, if you want to put that in, I said, yeah, look, let's make me another character in the game. Not that I haven't been characters in the game. I've been the game's gladiator. I'm basically Wolfgang of Shackleford, and now I am Sir Oliver, the gladiator trainer. So much like Richard Garriott in the Ultima series kept putting himself in the games, I also have a huge ego, and I am everywhere in Swords and Sandals. So yeah, I'm basically replacing the battle dummy to train the gladiators. You can learn skills from me and stuff like that if you want to learn the various skills. And these are, of course, the skills from Immortals, and that probably won't change, although I may add a couple of other special ones, and I'm going to tweak these as well. But that's all I wanted to show you from the actual game. I don't want to get into the arena and everything yet. I mean, you can see this. There's sort of like a Yaren. Rah. These are the gladiators you can fight against, of course. Rah. Which is pretty cool. And yeah. But I'm not going to show you anymore. I'm going to reveal some more of that in a little while. So how this game is going to work is basically I've taken Swords and Sandals Immortals, copied it, pasted it to a new folder, and I'm editing it to suit Swords and Sandals 3. Because Swords and Sandals Immortals was built from the ground up to basically copy everything that Swords and Sandals 3 was. And, throw in the dungeons and the overland map and sort of stuff. All that other stuff is going to be gone. There's no overland map. There's no dungeons. There's no observatories and that kind of stuff. This is going to be the pureness of Swords and Sandals 3. Just fight, shop, challenge champion. Fight, shop, challenge champion. It's going to be a faster paced version of the game that way. You can challenge the champions at any time you're ready. There's the Pillar of Champions will be returning everything. Every champion that you remember from the original Swords and Sandals 3 will be there. And, maybe I'll have a couple of secret ones, we'll see. But it's going to play out the same way as Swords and Sandals 3. It will be less grindy, though. I'm going to probably sort out the XP thing so it's doesn't feel as grindy as Swords and Sandals 3 did. And we'll also test that in the sort of, when I do a little test of the game. Artwork and so on. I'm remaking all the backgrounds, all of the arenas, shopkeepers, and everything like that. And the avatars we're going to do in the classic style and the Redux style. Armor will remain Immortals, though. Here's one change from Redux. The canon of Swords and Sandals armor sets and the tiers and everything is Swords and Sandals 2. And I kind of have used that in enough games that I've realized that's the sort of progression that I like. It has I think 24 different armor sets of growing in power. Swords and Sandals 3 had sort of gone away from that with like the silk ones and like the spike ones and sort of stuff like that. And while they look cool, there's only 12 of them. And it's not as much variety. So I also have all 24 armor sets from Swords and Sandals 2 and Swords and Sandals Immortals. And I just figured, look, that's also super expensive for me to commission all those bits of armor. So there's all these things I'm weighing up in my head, like how much to stay true to the original, how much, realistically works in Immortals. And I thought, you know what, that armor set is really cool. I really like the armor tier of Immortals and, of course, Swords and Sandals 2. So that's what we're saying. So the arena champions will be returning, but they will be wearing Immortals armor. So you won't probably see, the Yeti Project in spikes and that kind of thing. But I will do some tweaks to that. There will be special unique helmets and weapons for all of them that you haven't seen before, or you saw in Swords and Sandals 3, but done in the Immortal style. And there will, of course, be the same with weapons. and there's complete new sort of music and voice sets, all sorts of good stuff. Just bear in mind, this is a side project for me, very much a side project, and I love Sword and Sandals 3. It's 2 is my favorite. 3 is probably, actually in the 2, then Immortals, then 3. I love Immortals way more than a lot of other people. I mean, I put so much in that, and it's the most playable. I don't care what you say about the other games. Immortals I love it. 3 is kind of like, I love the idea of 3, and I love the animations. I'm going to put everything that I can to really bring that flavor back, but it's going to be Immortals animations and everything like that. I might try and put a couple of new death sequences and things like that. One thing people really miss about Sword and Sandals 3 was the flash animation style and all the animated blood and everything. I would love to be able to do that. It just doesn't work anymore. You can't use flash animations easily in Godot and stuff like that. I know there is Dragon Bones plugins and so on. I've tried them. I tried them all when I was doing Immortals and things like that, and it just didn't work. It's just no. It's a massive headache. And so the tool that I use for Immortals is called Spriter, and that's the animation tool that you're going to see basically the same animations with a few cool new bits of variety and so on. And I know that disappoints a few people who wanted the Sword and Sandals 3 original animations and so on. I tried to kind of stick too close to them as I could when I was building Immortals. The good news is you'll always have Sword and Sandals 3 original. Same with Sword and Sandals 2 original. The Redux games have been received in a mixed sort of way. I know that the Redux of Sword and Sandals 2 was the first kind of game I went out and did all by myself, and I had to do it for mobile first because that's where all the money was at the time, and then I put it across to Steam and everything. And so it did feel, it was clunky in its own way, but it had a lot of cool ideas. Same with Sword and Sandals 5 Redux, had some bugs. 3 Redux is based on Immortals, and it will have the same virtues and the same flaws as Immortals. And if you didn't like Immortals, I don't know, maybe you won't like 3 Redux, because it will play the same way. But it will be, like I said, more fast-paced and simpler in many ways because of the removal of the overland map and the extra complications. And there's no 300 days to kill anything or whatever it is. It's funny, just reading your comments about Sword and Sandals, I just, it kind of reminds me how passionate you guys are about this. And I had sort of this plan to do an even simpler reskin of Sword and Sandals Immortals without tweaking a whole bunch of things. Then I realized how much this game really means to you guys. And I thought, well, I have to kind of do a bit more in this. So rest assured, I'm going to make this the best 3 Redux can be, while also working on Lair of Leviathan and raising a family at the same time. You got a lot of things to juggle right now, as you know. Just quickly helping me to juggle all these balls in the air. They were not even balls. These are like these iron, fiery things, spikes that I'm juggling, trying to keep them all in the air. Are my awesome Patreon supporters. BGP, Cavity Number 1, Dane Simino, Brandon K, Noah Gudajan, XUp, Omega, Jeffro of Hex 3D, Hopeless, Valenwed, Evan, Martin Chalupsky, and Seth Drubiko. And that Hardy bunch doesn't change that much. Every now and again, someone will join or someone will leave. But if you stay with me for 1 month or 1 year or forever, I still appreciate your company along the way. And of course, you will be part of the credits for Sword and Sandals 3 Redux. You'll get a key to the game, and you will be part of the Lair of Leviathan journey. So if you want to be a Patreon subscriber, join on board. I don't know what happened to the armorer. He was there, and he's disappeared. I just don't know where he went. He used to do this raw. Yeah, anyway. But yeah, Patreon. Love it. Just quietly, the Patreon supporters knew all about Sword and Sandals 3 Redux way before everyone else. So there you go. That's about it for today. You haven't heard me from me for a little while because I had school holidays again. Man, these kids always on holidays, it feels like. And we had a lot of adventures. And it was good fun. But I sort of was able to do a bit here and there, but not able to get in front of the camera as much as I had hoped. And I've, of course, been working on Lair of Leviathan's dungeon system, and there'll be a video on that in the weeks to come. And I'll update you more when there is more to show on Sword and Sandals 3 Redux. But for now, if you like what you see, give it a wish list. We've already got over 2,000 wish lists, which is awesome. So, it took me nearly a year to get that many for Gorgon Shield. So I can tell people love this game. There's 2,500 or something. So, yeah, and if you love these ramblings, then blah, 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 like, subscribe, and all the rest to the wonderful Whiskey Stew Barrel Whiskeybarrel Studios channel. The height of professionalism. Stop. Get off. Man. You'd think after a decade doing this, I would be more professional. All right, guys. All the best. Until next time, thank you so much for all the awesome comments on Swords and Sandals 3. You've really inspired me to keep going with it, and I know we're onto a good thing, and I can't wait for you guys to return to the arena once again. Until next time, my friends, bye for now.